Have you ever tried convincing someone of something in the past year? Were you able to change their mind? Was it successful? Or, let's be honest. Did it lead to an argument? Was the argument successful? Today, it can seem like we're more divided than ever. The Thanksgiving holiday used to be about connecting with one another, and now it seems to be a holiday about fighting with your uncle. But maybe a photo can change that. Maybe a picture has the power to bridge a divide, or at the very least relay a message. Hi, my name is Erik Jepsen, and I take pretty photos for UC San Diego. Photos like this photo of our library, or this photo of our pier, or this photo of a house we put on top of a building. But more important than taking pretty photos, my goal is to take photos that bring out an emotion or feelings. Maybe a sense of awe, or excitement, or happiness, or a desire for change. But let's take this a step further. What if I wanted to show you the impact of giving a scholarship can have on a student? Or how cool science can be? Or the power of perseverance to achieve your goal? But let's take a longer look at this photo for a second. That's UC San Diego graduate Alex Rodriguez at his commencement. Alex has not had an easy life, to put it lightly. He spent his childhood on the streets of Mexico as an orphan and spent years grappling with gang life in Los Angeles. I could spend this whole talk trying to put into words what Alex had to overcome and what graduating from UC San Diego meant to him. Or I can show you a photo, and that photo can tell you in a few seconds what this meant for him better than anything I could say. See, that's what's great about photography. When people view a photo, they don't have to listen to an argument. The conversation becomes internal with themselves. People ask me all the time why I got into photography. And what's funny is I can never articulate with words why I became a photographer. But that photo of Alex, that emotion, that jubilation, that happiness, that's what made me want to be a photographer. To capture the essence of a moment so that no matter your outlook on life, you can have others share in that emotion and connect with one another. Looking at a photo can tell us so much without having to say anything. To capture parts of people's lives and share them with others, to see a photograph and feel excited or feel empowered, or at the very least, curious to understand. I love being able, through my photos, to show people the impact of research or student excellence or perseverance, or even being able to give context to important historical events. The summer of 2020 saw the United States' biggest protest for racial justice and civil rights in a generation. George Floyd's death in Minneapolis gave a global profile to the Black Lives Matter movement that has emerged in recent years to protest the deaths of African Americans in police custody. In the middle of the pandemic, hundreds of thousands took to the street to demand change. But anyone familiar with the struggle against injustice will know that my description fails to capture the complexities of the movement. But maybe a photo will. And hopefully, whoever sees this photo tries to understand what's actually happening. Maybe they ask themselves, why would thousands of people show up to march? What's so important? And if they reach out for understanding because of a photo, that has far more lasting impact in a positive direction than trying to persuade someone with words. But visual narrative is important. And unfortunately, photos are a double-edged sword. Because photos have the equal ability to change hearts in either direction. During the protests following George Floyd's death, did you see this? Or did you see a stream of rioting imagery? The photos you were shown likely varied based on the news outlets showing them. In the case of George Floyd's death, everyone can agree that police brutality is bad. But when someone is only shown imagery from one perspective, those images can sway their whole opinion on a movement. Okay, here's a more lighthearted example of what I mean. This is a photo of an earthquake shake table. Nothing too special. It's one of the largest earthquake shake tables in the world, but really it's just a platform with a concrete structure on it. Now, if I wanted to make this earthquake research more family-friendly fun, boom, throw a researcher with the sun in the foreground, and now you've got some family-friendly science fun. And I've transformed the message just by changing the foreground. Can you imagine if a family was placed in the foreground of every research photo ever taken? You would think every scientific breakthrough was the most family-friendly activity there is. All right, last example here with some camera manipulation this time. Here, we're looking at a photo of the San Diego Innovation Day. And I mean, stuff's going on, but it's not really packed. There's not really a lot happening. But if I get a little lower and compress the area with a zoom lens, now it's a crowded space with barely any walking room, and it was only taken 30 seconds after the first photo. Point being, how you photograph something changes the meaning, and you want to be engaging but also honest. Whenever I take photos, I always try to think back to what the legendary photographer Peter Parker was once told by his uncle. With great power comes great responsibility. See, when Uncle Ben gave that advice, he didn't know Peter Parker was Spider-Man, but he did know Peter was a photographer. And that's what's great about the cliche, a picture is worth 1,000 words, is that, for one, it's true, but even better, no one is telling the viewer what those 1,000 words are. They're telling it to themselves. No outward arguments required to change minds. So the next time you find yourself about to argue with your uncle at Thanksgiving, maybe show them a photo instead. And hopefully, that photo has the power to persuade their hearts rather than words. But if nothing else, you can both agree that bubbles are fun and puppies are adorable.